Be me, 21, business administration major, sociology minor, 4th year, and finally feels like the world's catching up to what we've been saying all along. Every seminar, every lecture lately has the same theme. Women aren't just good for companies, they're essential. Without us, innovation stalls, culture rots, progress flatlines. Professor today is one of my favorites. She doesn't just lecture, she preaches equity hiring boosts outcomes. Women-led firms drive success. I'm scribbling notes like gospel, grinning so hard my pen almost tears the page. I glance at the guys in the back row. They look bored, arms crossed, some rolling their eyes, probably hate that the old order's gone. Too bad. Their time's up, and ours is just starting. I glance at the girls sitting beside me. We lean in close, whispering fast, grins barely held back. One squeezes my arm, another mouths, "Finally," like it's a secret just for us. We're buzzing so hard it feels like the whole lecture hall should hear it. Professor isn't even on numbers yet. She's walking us through concepts, each one flowing like scripture. Women bring collaboration where men bring competition. Diverse leadership means diverse solutions. Equity is efficiency. Without it, firms stagnate. I'm nodding hard, scribbling like every line deserves its own poster. In the back, the guys start muttering louder. I hear, "Collaboration, more like endless meetings. Diverse solutions, code for lowering standards," one even chuckles. Funny how stagnation always gets blamed on men. My friend next to me whirls around, sharp voice cutting across the room. "Do you mind? The rest of us are trying to learn something." The professor stops mid-stride, marker hovering at the board. She tilts her head toward the back row. "Gentlemen, since you seem to have commentary, why not share it with all of us?" Silence hangs for a beat before one guy leans forward, voice calm but steady. "Sure. You keep saying women-led firms outperform. Based on what? Because from where I'm sitting, every chart I've seen shows productivity drops the moment quotas come into play." A ripple runs through the class. I sit straighter, waiting for her to crush him. She smiles thin, like she's been waiting for this. "You're oversimplifying. The literature is clear. Equity fosters resilience and long-term growth. Men just chase short-term wins." He doesn't back down, leans in harder. "Sounds nice, but that's just theory. Where's the actual proof? Because real-world firms don't run on feelings. They run on results." Students around us shift, eyes darting between them like a tennis match. Professor's hand tightens around the marker, knuckles pale. She exhales, voice clipped but measured. "All right then. The next data point might surprise some of you." The slide flashes up, not another colorful concept, but a cold, blunt stat. A systematic review of over 20 studies found that gender quotas on corporate boards have on average decreased company performance. For a second, the room doesn't breathe. My pen freezes above the paper, ink dripping if it could. Professor blinks, face tightening. This is supposed to be her knockout slide, but it lands like a punch. The guy who challenged her leans back, arms crossed, smug. Classmates slide sideways, eyes locked on her. The girls next to me go silent too, whispers dying in their throats. Professor forces a smile, voice strained. That doesn't reflect the whole picture." Her marker taps on the board, squeaking under the pressure. The challenger's calm voice cuts through. "But you said equity boosts outcomes." "Looks like the data updated without you." A few students around gasp. Professor's eyes dart to the screen, then back to her notes like she's seeing it for the first time. Her lips part, whispering something only she can hear, almost like, "How did this slide get in here?" The marker trembles in her hand, pride slipping into raw panic. The room holds its breath so hard I can hear the projector fan. Professor swallows, taps the marker like it can erase pixels. "Context," she says, voice too bright. "We need to finish the framework before we cherry-pick anomalies." She clicks again, but her hand shakes and the clicker misses. The same slide stares back at us like it's daring her to blink. She clears her throat. "We'll pause here for today." Half the class exhales. The other half starts talking at once. She caps the marker too hard, drops it, then smiles like that's normal. "Read chapters 7 and 8. Next session we'll synthesize, translate." She's ending early. We spill into the hallway in a crowd that doesn't know what to do with itself. My friends and I cluster by the water fountain, buzzing. "That guy totally derailed it," one says, lip curled. "Yeah, he thrives on drama," I add, like I know his soul. We each sip water we don't want and stare at the door like the professor might come back out and explain the world correctly. The guys are already in a knot by the stairs, voices low, weirdly calm. I drift closer under the excuse of tossing my cup. Catch pieces, sample bias, board composition, opportunity cost. They talk like they live in spreadsheets. I roll my eyes on instinct. In the dining hall at lunch, the debate goes feral. Girls from my cohort cram into a corner booth like we're building a defense team. We throw ideas around fast. Maybe the study only looked at old companies. Maybe they measured the wrong stuff. Maybe it was biased, funded by the wrong people. I stab a grape with my fork. There's no way quotas actually hurt. Women stabilize teams. That's common sense. A guy at the next table doesn't even look up from his tray. If it's common sense, why does the data say the opposite? My friend shoots back. Because men don't like being challenged, so they tank the numbers on purpose. He finally glances over, deadpan. So it's our fault you underperform? Another girl blurts. Well, women bring balance, collaboration, empathy. He cuts her off, shaking his head. Collaboration? Every time we get a diverse team project, it takes twice as long because no one makes decisions. Empathy doesn't ship products. Our side of the booth bristles, voices climbing. One of the guys leans back, calm as anything. Look, no one's saying women can't contribute, but the numbers don't lie. When companies hire based on quotas, efficiency drops. Investors notice, clients notice. Jobs disappear, feelings don't keep the lights on. The table goes quiet for a beat, his words hanging heavier than the cafeteria air. I sip my soda fast, trying not to show it, but inside, I'm burning. He made it sound so simple, too simple, and worse. Everyone nearby heard it too. Next class, Professor walks in, stiff like she barely slept. She sets her bag down, claps once. Since yesterday's discussion, let's test something hands-on. The room tilts forward. Waiting, she writes on the board. Trading simulation, teams of equal size. Murmurs spread instantly, she explains. Each team gets a virtual $100,000. We have 2 weeks to grow it in a trading sim. The school licenses, rules are simple. Pick your portfolio, manage trades, and with the highest balance, profits decide the winner, nothing else. I exchange a look with my girls, buzzing already, finally. A chance to prove what we've been saying. Boys chase short-term wins, women build resilience. This game was designed to expose them. Professor starts dividing us up, but before she can even finish, my friend blurts, why not just make it girls versus boys? Level playing field, straight comparison, a few gasps. Then snickers from the back row. The guys lean forward, grins sharp. How misogynistic, wait till we school them? Fine by us, one says. Professor hesitates, but too many heads are nodding. She sighs. All right then, boys versus girls. We huddle up instantly, notebooks out like it's battle plans. I slam my pen down. Look, we're not just chasing money, we're proving women stabilize systems. So no reckless gambling. Ethical firms only. Heads nod around the circle. We start listing. Renewable energy, fair trade coffee, companies with women, CEOS, values-driven growth, someone whispers, like it's poetry. Across the room, the guys look nothing like us. They're already laughing, screens pulled up, tickers scrolling. I catch words like defense contracts, tech monopolies, oil rebound, gross, but predictable. They'll chase profit even if it poisons the planet. By Thursday of week 1, our renewable stock jumps 6%. We cheer like it's a championship. See? Sustainable growth. I beam. Professor even nods, smiling like she's proud. Across the room, the guys don't even flinch. One just mutters, dead cat bounce. We pretend not to hear, but I write it in my notes to Google later. First week flies, our picks feel solid. Green energy, organic food, a trendy diversity consulting startup, slow and steady. I remind them, sipping my overpriced kombucha. Meanwhile, whispers leak from the other team. Their portfolio ballooned off some oil giant and a defense stock that spiked overnight, numbers ugly but high. Second week, during our A meeting, one girl suggests selling the diversity startup before it tanks further. I shoot her down. No, that's panic trading, exactly what men do. She leans back, arms crossed, mutters under her breath, yeah, but the men are winning? We all laugh nervously, but it sits there like a splinter. But somehow she was right. Our values-driven stocks dip after one bad quarterly report. We panic, debate selling, but that feels like betrayal. Stay the course, I say, voice tight, but the chart keeps sliding red. Every time I glance across the room, the guys look more relaxed, joking like they already won. Final day. Professor pulls up the leaderboard on the projector. As the professor types in the final results, the whole class leans forward. She clicks, the numbers flash, and the silence snaps. Our portfolio, $92,430. Their portfolio, $138,670. The room explodes. Half gasps, half laughs. The guys high-five, one even whistles low. We sit frozen, faces hot, stomachs dropping like elevators. Professor clears her throat, but her voice wavers. Well, data speaks for itself. Our booth implodes instantly. You said hold. One girl snaps at me. You wanted the stupid coffee stock. Another shoots back. Someone mutters, this isn't even fair. Men game the system. I slam my notebook shut, heart racing. Yeah, congrats. You won a capitalism contest. Exactly what men are good at. Exploiting, cutting corners, screwing everyone else for profit. The guys just grin wider, leaning back in their chairs like kings. Whatever helps you sleep, one says. The burn stings worse than the loss. One of them leans across the aisle, smirks sharp. Funny how empathy didn't stop your portfolio from bleeding. The table around him cracks up. What the hell? I grip my pen so tight the plastic creaks. Professor claps once, too loud. Enough? This exercise was illuminating. But let's be clear. One result on a class trading sim doesn't prove anything. It's inconclusive. She's forcing calm, but her smile looks stapled on. A few of the girls exhale like that's the lifeline we needed. Then one of the guys calls across the room. If you really believe women outperform, why not a second round? Something that's not capitalism coded, like she said, and the buzz spreads instantly. The girls around me perk up and echo back, yes, exactly. And let's test collaboration instead, until the professor hesitates, glances at the board like she wants to erase the whole day, and finally she nods and says, fine, round two. This time we'll measure project management, not profit. You'll run mock startups and pitch product plans in 3 weeks with the same budgets, judged on feasibility and execution. Our side cheers loud, voices overlapping with lines like, this is what we're built for, and collaboration, empathy. They can't touch us on that. And I feel lighter already, scribbling round two equals redemption at the top of my notes, while the guys just grin and one says, calm as stone. Sure, let's see if empathy can hit deadlines. A few days in, and our team motivation is at an all-time high. We're meeting every night, every voice equal, half an hour just choosing a team name, Aurora Futures, an hour more debating colors for the slides. Green means sustainability, and the mission statement takes 3 drafts and 3 meetings. Compassion-driven growth becoming our North Star. But by the end of week 1, we've only talked circles, and the budget sheet is still blank. From the outside, I spy on the guys' table whenever I can, and they don't argue. They divide. One handles costs, another market strategy, the third builds the product angle, quiet and efficient. They barely even need to speak sometimes, and when they do, it's short and sharp. Done. Check this. Switch the order. That works. And I roll my eyes and tell myself it's robotic, not real teamwork, but part of me can't unsee how fast their whiteboard fills compared to ours. The tension is electric. Word got around campus about the trading sim drama and the professor versus challenger moment. So now the lecture hall is packed, students leaning in doorways with phones out waiting for round 2, and the professor tries to keep order, but it feels more like a live event than class. We go first, slides glowing pastel with pictures of happy workers and trees, and our pitch flows like poetry with empathy, centric design and values-led strategy, and the line, profits matter, but people matter more. And we close on a line that makes us beam. Aurora Futures proves growth and compassion can coexist, and the applause comes polite with a few cheers from our row, but I catch smirks in the back. Then the guys step up with no fancy colors and no stock photos, just clean black text on white. Line 1 projected revenue with realistic 18-month break-even. Line 2 supply chain costs mapped in detail. Line 3 marketing rollout. Sharp and simple, their delivery calm and unshaken with no fluff, just numbers and clear roles. They don't need buzzwords because every slide looks like a real plan. The judges lean forward, 2 professors from business, 1 from econ, even a local startup founder, and 1 interrupts mid-pitch to ask how they'd handle scaling if demand doubles. And they answer instantly, each from their own lane with cost projections, logistics, and manpower. Then another asks about marketing budget cuts, and they counter with a lean strategy breakdown. It's brutal, but they don't miss a beat. Our Q&A feels different. How do you project profitability? And we stumble, circle back to values create value, and what's your customer acquisition strategy? And we smile about community-driven engagement until the judges stop writing. Someone in the crowd even mutters, "They didn't answer the question." Professor tallies the scores in front of everyone, face pale again, projector humming until the numbers flicker up. Aurora Futures, 61, Team Merit, 94. The room erupts with gasps and groans, half the hall laughing and phones snapping pics of the scoreboard, and this time it's even worse. No stock market volatility to blame, no capitalism-coded excuse, just a side-by-side beatdown. Our booth self-destructs instantly with, "Your idea tanked the whole pitch," and, "No, you were the one obsessed with the logo," and someone snaps, "They," only one because the judges are men. But one of the judges is a woman, shaking her head slowly with notes in her lap, and the burn cuts deeper than any smirk. I slam my notebook shut, chest tight, muttering, "This just proves academia's patriarchal too. They reward profit over people." And it sounds good out loud, but tastes hollow inside, while across the room, the guys don't even argue, they just sit back with calm grins letting us unravel ourselves in front of everyone. Professor finally speaks with a thin smile that doesn't reach her eyes. "Results like these. They're interesting. But remember, no exercise is perfect. Numbers alone don't capture the broader social value equity provides." And she taps the desk like punctuation, as if the caveat could smudge out the scoreboard glowing behind her. But the room hums with whispers anyway, because everyone saw the numbers, clean and brutal. I stare at the slide so hard it blurs, heat crawling up my neck, my notes a mess of half sentences and doodles, none of it helping, every instinct screaming to argue, to stand up and shout this isn't fair, but my body feels nailed to the chair, with my jaw locked and my stomach sinking like I chose this. Hallways thinning out, air buzzing from the scoreboard still glowing behind my eyes, and one of the guys Daryl's by the door with his backpack slung cool as ever. I march straight up with heat in my chest. "So you proud of yourself?" I snap, and he blinks, calm. "For what?" "For putting women down in front of the whole class. For proving what? That guys are better?" He shifts his bag, voice even. "That's not what happened," and I laugh sharp. "Oh please, you got your little win and now you think you're some kind of prophet." But he doesn't bite, just looks at me steady and says, "Look, no one's saying women can't do great work, but men and women aren't built the same. Strengths aren't identical. The problem is, you don't want equal opportunity. You want equal outcomes, and that's not reality." I fold my arms tight, nails in my skin. "So reality is men just always come out on top?" "No," he says measured. "Reality is men push in certain directions harder. We're wired different. Risk, output, raw grind. Women excel in other ways. Detail, care, stability, both matter. But when you force outcomes to look the same, you ignore how different strengths actually build better teams." I open my mouth, but nothing sharp comes out fast enough. "That's convenient," I mutter, trying to sound dismissive, and he shrugs. Convenient doesn't mean untrue. Then another guy walks up. Jason, the one who answered the scaling question like it was nothing. He glances between us, smirks. "What's this, post-game interview?" I glare. "Oh great, 2-on-1, perfect. Tell me how women ruin everything." And Jason shakes his head, tone flat. "Nobody said that, but think about it. If a runner trains for sprints and another trains for marathons, are you shocked the sprinter wins the sprint? Doesn't mean the marathon is useless, just means they're not the same race." My stomach twists, because for a second it actually makes sense. I see our pastel slides against their clean numbers. I push the thought down fast and scowl harder. Cute metaphor. Still sounds like excuses to keep women in that place. Daryl's voice stays steady. Or maybe it's a reminder to stop pretending difference means less. Equal chance to try, real scoreboards after. That's fair. Doesn't mean the scoreboard has to be even. Jason nods once and starts walking. Daryl follows, but pauses just long enough to add, "No shame in being great at something different. Shame's in denying results when they're right in front of you." They disappear down the stairwell. I stand frozen with my notebook heavy in my bag, and for half a heartbeat, I almost let it sink in. Then I shake my head and mutter to myself, "Yeah, right, typical men, dressing up their privilege like wisdom," and I walk the other way, heels clicking too loud on the tiles.